Welcome, cricket fans of America, back to Morgan Hill, California, the Strikers Cricket Ground, the scene of day one of our final weekend of 2025 minor league cricket here in the Western Division. My name is Joe Hickey. I'm joined by Vishal Tiku on the controls and by Stanley on the camera work as we get ready to bring you the second game of our doubleheader. It's going to be the San Ramon Grizzlies and the Silicon Valley Strikers. This a rivalry that almost game in, game out, ends up being pretty close between these two sides. However, oddly enough, tends to always go one way. 11 meetings, 11 victories for the Silicon Valley Strikers. Can the 12th time be finally the charm for the San Ramon Grizzlies? If it is, it's going to be a very important one for them, as this playoff race is absolutely white hot at the moment in this division. We'll tell you a bit about that as we go along, but for the time being, we're going to have to get straight to the action, assuming I can bring up our score bar. Doesn't seem to be cooperating. There we are. Think we might have it in a moment here. There it goes. So we do get a look here at the San Ramon Grizzlies team. One change from their lineup in their last time out. Manav Nayak out, Mohammad Tahir Adil in for the Silicon Valley Strikers. Sorry for the concern here. First delivery is, we appear to be playing on a different pitch for game two, which is going to be a little bit of an issue for us here, as everything was set up for game one. Oh dear. So we're going to go radio commentary for a little bit while Vishal goes and deals with one of his many jobs here for Quick Live Productions and the MLC Network. But it is Aaron Johnson and Rahul Jadiwala at the center. First delivery faced by Johnson, and it's run off the back behind square leg for a boundary. Our sincere apologies. Things have gotten underway sort of in a flash. We had our toss maybe 15 minutes ago. So we'll try and set the scene for you. It's Yusuf Zazai bowling from the Tadika end to start. A right-hand pacer. Aaron Johnson, the MILC leader in run scoring with a 4 already. That one buzzes the tower as Azai responds to that early 4 with a little bit of fury. Johnson not just the leader in runs, but also in 6s and in 50s, and has the 9th best average in minor league at 54 runs per wicket lost. His strike rate nearly a run and a half per ball. Most recently a 66 not out off 35 to beat Seattle in the Grizzlies' most recent action, that nearly 2 weeks ago. That one's gotten pad. Johnson working his way down the track, opportunity for a run out, but the toss is not in time or on target from Gary Graham. As the two Jamaicans nearly collide with each other. Gary Graham, the 43-year-old Jamaican, coaching here in the Bay Area and professional pitch curator as well. Aaron Johnson, 34-year-old Jamaican, who's since emigrated and represented Canada to great aplomb. 2 dots after the 4. That one cuts him in half, and the finger is up. Aaron Johnson dismissed just 4 balls into this match. And in a match where the San Ramon Grizzlies are trying to reverse recent painful history against this club, it is not a happy start. One of their talismans gone right out of the gate. Yusuf Zazai, who leads this Silicon Valley side in wickets taken with 15 of them, has just gotten number 16. He's struck in every game this season, and that now includes this one, number 9 on the year. As they will go in search of a 6th victory that will put them in the driver's seat for a spot in Morrisville. So Grizzlies 4 for 1. Johnson in the shed with 4 off 4, and it's going to be Ruvindu Gunasekera who enters for San Ramon. He was picked up for the series against Seattle 2 weekends ago. Went at about a run a ball over the course of the weekend, 38 off 39, which is right in keeping with what he's been doing for the last 2 seasons. 2023 with LSA, Lone Star Athletics, and 24 with San Diego Surfriders, strike rates of 98 and 101 those 2 years. 28 not out off 24 balls in the San Ramon win over Seattle. Did most of his damage versus spin. Steps in from the left side to face off with Zazai, fresh off taking the wicket of Johnson. Again buzzes the tower, just as he did Johnson following the 4. Might be the last time he's allowed to do that this over. We'll show you the team sheets at the break between the first and second overs, but we already told you about the one alteration for the Grizzlies from that last game in Seattle. Manav Nayak out, Mohammad Tahir Adil in. The one change for Silicon Valley is standing just to my right, Christopher Ramsaran in for Taro Nadada. A little bit of lefty leg spin. Final ball of a productive over for Yusuf Zazai. Swing and a miss into the gloves of Amok Adapali behind the stumps. And after the 4 on the first ball, 5 consecutive dots, and the 1 in the middle, the wicket of Aaron Johnson. Big moves already, San Ramon 4 for 1 through 1. A look here at the Silicon Valley squad. Yuvraj Samra and Dilpreet Singh Bajwa playing in the two-tone blue for the first time at home. Both of them made their debuts with the team in Seattle. Otherwise, Nawaz Khan, the former Blazer, along with Christopher Ramsaran for that matter. You've already seen Yusuf Zazai. And this first over from Atul's end is going to be bowled by, and this feels very strange to say for this team, the only lefty seamer in the squad. And it's the captain, Ramon Reefer. Saurabh Netravalkar, if you're joining us late or have not been paying attention to action in the Caribbean Premier League, he is down with TKR. First delivery ran on the ground and stopped straight at the man at mid-wicket. And a dot delivery, San Ramon haven't scored since that 4 to open the proceedings from Aaron Johnson. Deep protection here inside the power play against Rahul Jariwala, who faces his first at backward square and sweeper cover. And that ball is trying to beat the backward square to the rope and does. Rahul Jariwala underway with a 4 on the second ball he sees. Few indications coming from the captain, and That backward square leg moves even finer now as Reefer steams in. That one works straight past the man on the inner circle. It doesn't look like it's got quite enough juice to make it to the rope. Oh, never mind that. Absolutely does. It was a long, long run for that deep fielder, and he's not quite able to get there in time. Back-to-back fours off the bat of Jariwala. That's just got to feel spiteful if you're that fielder. You made the long run and couldn't cut off the one that was tickled fine of you, and then your captain moves you finer, and Jariwala hits the gap between you and everybody on the infield. Brutal. Reefer going wide with that one and does not keep it within the tram lines. Can hardly blame him for wanting to keep it out of Jariwala's arc after those last two hits. Rahul, the Fremont kid, now captain of this squad. 154 runs this season at a 122 strike rate and an average a hair under 26 runs per wicket. Steps forward and runs that off the face of the bat. That'll be chased down and a single. I don't know if you can tell, but it's windy here. That wind currently into the face of Ramon Reefer and blowing from right to left across him slightly. If you can't tell from the from the microphone, you can certainly tell from the flag waving behind Ravindu Gunasekara. Reefer goes a little short. Gunasekara can't make contact. That'll be a dot delivery. As we take a look here, Reefer doesn't actually bowl a ton of dot deliveries, but tends to limit the boundaries. That one may be a little off pace and a little shorter. That one's taken an edge. There's an appeal, and it's not given. Not the first time I've seen that level of hysterics from Reefer end up leading to nothing. Gunasekara step forward. The claim was that they took the inner edge. Certainly the catch taken by Amok Adapalli. But the finger was not forthcoming from our umpire in the middle. And so that'll bring an end to the over. 14 for the loss of one. Ramon Reefer unhappy with Ganesh Sanup, who did not put the finger up for what he thought was an under edge into the gloves of Amok Adapalli. Gunasekara survives. He's at the non-striker's end. It's Rahul Jariwala who did all the damage off of Reefer on strike to start this over. Yusuf Zazai continues, and why not? Gave up a 4 on the first ball to Aaron Johnson, buzzed the tower. First time I've seen somebody take the tack of trying to intimidate the Canada veteran. Seemed to get the job done, though. Hit him on the pads 2 deliveries after that and sent him packing. He now digs in against Gunasekara. Soft hands, and that one delivered back to Christopher Ramsaran at third. And that gets Gunasekara off the mark. Zazai, the 24-year-old righty quick from Paktia, Afghanistan, in 22 T20 matches of the official variety, 19 wickets at about 32 runs per and an economy just over 8. Here in minor league, that economy a hair under 7. As we told you, 15 wickets, now 16. Started the day tied for 4th. May well be all alone in that spot. Single taken here by Jadiwala. It's interesting seeing Zazai striking here inside the power play. He's bowled a lot in the middle as of late. Perhaps is now the substitute in the absence of Saurabh Netravalkar, now with Trinbago Knight Riders in the CPL, and had a hand in continuing TKR's season with that phenomenal over, if you missed it, against the Antigua and Barbuda Falcons a couple nights ago. Gone! No? A little confused about what exactly has happened there. Perhaps not. We saw the stumps light up. The ball itself went flying. Let's see if we can spot what happened here. Yusuf Zazai bowls this one in. It's a under edge that ends up all the way at the boundary rope. Goes for 4, and Gunaseka is still there. I don't know what lit the stumps up. At any rate, first boundary for Ravindu. And now pushes this one wide of the other set of stumps, and will take a single. That was weird. Take a look from this camera here at that under edge. Oh, goodness gracious. So it barely touches off stump, and it did light up the bails, but the bail never came fully out of its groove. You can see the whole thing still intact. And so because of that, doesn't count. Gotta upend the bails, gotta get them out of the groove. Otherwise, you fight another day. Last ball of the 3rd over. Worked off the pads here by Rahul Jadiwala. That is a long run. Diving is Kamran Hotak. He keeps it in, and Gary Graham will gun it back in. Plenty of time, though, and they do run 3, so it's just a single run saved by that pursuit. 11 runs off the second Zazai over. San Ramon, 25 for 1.
From USA to India, experience journeys like never before. Book your tickets today with Fantastic Fare, your ticket to cricket and beyond. Book today and celebrate with Fantastic Fare.
And a look here at the points table as we enter play in our second game. East Bay Blazers earlier today took over first place from the Seattle Thunderbolts. Assuming they don't get walloped tomorrow in their game against the San Ramon Grizzlies, they will almost assuredly stay ahead of Seattle. The only question now is whether Silicon Valley or San Ramon might potentially catch them. If San Ramon do win, they would have a chance maybe to go 7-3, maybe jump over the top and claim the title. Silicon Valley, if they win here today, could do the same and go to 7-3, and they don't even have to deal with East Bay anymore after this. And so still a lot to fight for there in that division. It's going to be Kamran Hotak bowling the second from this side. Reefer had the first at Atul's end, and it went for 10. 2 4s, a wide, and a single. Lefty spin round the wicket. This one poked to the offside, past the inner ring. And a single to start for Jadiwala. Story on Hotak so far is he goes for boundaries in the power play, 16.7%, basically 1 out of every 6 power play deliveries, but also bowls a lot of dots. A little over half of his power play deliveries have gone for no runs. Ten wickets on the season at an economy a hair under a run a ball. That one off the outer edge, not particularly squared up. That'll roll to a fielder inside the circle. It's a sweep that is knocked down inside the circle. What a play. And that's a catch. That's a wicket taken. Couldn't tell in the moment that had gotten to him in the air, but Ravindu Gunasekara's got to go. And we need to know the name of that truck / player that took that snag. We talked about it before, Kamran Hotak. Going for boundaries, but also lots of dots. We saw him upend an entire power play against East Bay 2 weeks ago here. This time he's responsible for taking wicket number 2. That sweep, it's uppish. And the catch held inside the circle. And in fact, you can't keep him out of the game. It's Yusuf Zazai who makes that catch. The man who took AJ LBW in his first over of work. Responsible for pouching the wicket of his countryman, Kamran Hotak. So Gunasekara leaves 6 off 9. San Ramon now 26 for 2. And it's going to be Sahil Garg coming out. San Ramon with a little bit of repair to do at this point. This may be a little bit like looking in a mirror for the two players at the crease. If Nirav Shah, one of the co-owners of the San Ramon Grizzlies, is to be believed. First delivery to Sahil Garg. Here's a dot. When I talked to him about Sahil, said that he reminds him of Rahul Jariwala at a younger age. That same sort of lazy elegance that attracted this squad to Jariwala. Of course, Rahul, the ex-Silicon Valley striker, played for them and kept wicket for the first few years of his career in MILC, moved before last year in search of leadership opportunities, and is now a captain. He'll face this last delivery of the over, and it's hooked up in the air and another wicket down. I don't know if that was elegant, but that shot looked a little on the lazy side. Just a toss of the bat in the general direction of that, and a scoop that never had the requisite power to get over the top of fine leg. And Kamran Hotak takes 2 in the over to go along with the 2 runs conceded. And a very productive first bowling change. San Ramon, the dreaded 3 wickets down in the power play, 27 for 3 through 4. Both openers in the shed for the men in red. It'll be a change of ends for Ramon Reefer, who is going to bowl himself from the Tarika end for the second over of his spell. And he'll be coming left arm round the wicket as he bowls against Sahil Garg. 2 new batters at the crease. Garg 1 off 2. Sundaresan waiting to face his first. Garg dangles the bat out there. And we saw Reefer apoplectic, appealing in the first over for a caught behind, threatening again as he goes wide. Just does keep it inside the tram lines for that dot delivery. Dropped into the offside behind point. A single there, and Garg has his second run. That'll bring Akash on strike. Highlight of Sundaresan's season so far, the 36 off 26 against the LA Lashings. He's been quicker against pace than spin. 117 the strike rate, but he's also been out faster. Lost his wicket once every 8 balls compared to once every 19 against spin. So a little boom or bust. That one again buzzing at shoulder height. We have seen a handful of deliveries up in that region. Not afraid to bowl these bouncers, our Reefer, or for that matter, Zazai. Saw that as part of that abbreviated battle with Aaron Johnson. Uses the feet to close up and get close to the pitch of that ball, or the line rather. Sundaresan's got 2 runs off that one run back towards the boundary on the offside. Mentioned Hotak in the game against East Bay. Took out Saideep, Sanjay, and Sujit within the power play. It did not turn out to be enough for the men in two-tone blue, as they fell well short of a gettable target against the East Bay attack. They're starting similarly here against the Grizzlies. Can they finish it a little more effectively this time? That one run back behind point. That'll be a single for Garg. In the first matchup between these two sides, San Ramon also batted first. They are 2-2 when doing so. All of the games, though, have been close. They've won a pair of them by 7 runs, and they've lost twice in the final over. And in the case of the game against Silicon Valley, on the final ball, at least the 3rd final ball loss against Silicon Valley that I can remember off the top of my head. Garg with a swing and a miss, and the final delivery of that Reefer over is a dot. Just 4 from it. Nice comeback for Reefer. I imagine he'll continue to bowl himself from the Tartica end if that's how it's going to go. 1 over left in the power play. San Ramon 31 for 3. A quarter of the way through this first innings. San Ramon 31 for 3 on pace at the moment. For 124. When batting first, all 4 of their scores have been between 127 and 148, so that would be a low water mark as Hotak continues from this end and looks to continue to rack up power play wickets against the Bay Area sides. Quickly out to field off his own bowling. Deep protection against Akash Sundaresan is at mid-wicket and at long off. And Sundaresan will put this one into that long off region where they can pick up a single. Dilpreet Singh Bajwa, one of last week's Silicon Valley debutantes, up to claim it. Of course, as we mentioned, this not the only playoff race of interest. The West certainly on fire as that one is off the pad and gone. No hesitation at all. Kamran Hotak's got a 3rd wicket inside the power play. And the Grizzlies have lost their 4th. Garg's got to go for 2 off 5. That one's skidding on a little bit. No concerns about pitch. Impact looked good. The only question was whether it had enough of an angle to carry it down leg, but the umpire at that end, no hesitation, fingers straight up, and that's all for Garg. He departs for 2 off 6. It's now 32 for 4. The second LBW we've seen. going to be Harish Kakani out substantially earlier than he would like to be out in the middle. When these two teams met for their opener, he put up 22 off 17. Also had 26 off 18 in the first game against Seattle. So far, his two biggest performances have come in losses, which kind of puts you in two minds because you need a big performance, but that's not a great omen. Kakani, after showing some promise at San Diego in his first year in MILC, really burst onto the scene as a legitimate all-rounder in 23 with these Grizzlies. Spent last year with Dallas Exforia Giants. They are going to need his bat today because the card is starting to run out of batters in a hurry. Really, the only recognized ones remaining are Zia Shahzad and Mohammad Tahir Adil. And attempted stumping, but nothing doing. And a dot ball there. That one tapped to the man in the circle for another dot. And another dot delivery as Reefer moves to his right. Just one run off the over and another wicket. Hotak's got figures of 3 for 3 through 2. And San Ramon, promising start, ends 32 for 4 at the end of the power play. And it's going to be lefty spin from both ends now for Silicon Valley Strikers, but it's going to be lefty leggy spin from the Tarika end, coming out of the hand of Christopher Ramsaran. 32-year-old Trinidadian left-arm wrist spinner. Bowls that first one, and Akash Sundaresan a spectator to begin with. Just one over so far on the season for Ramsaran since coming over to the Silicon Valley Strikers. He's also bowled with East Bay and with the New England Eagles in MILC. Struggling to read the length, and that one takes a funky hop. Another dot delivery. It's the mystery spin aspect of this that gets you danger and wickets bowling this style. I asked Huddy the other day, what exactly is the point? You can just as easily get it to turn like this from an offie, but it is that deception. That's a full delivery. Akash strokes that to the man at long on. Obviously now the field spread out a little bit further, more singles and doubles potentially on offer. 5 permitted outside the ring. Most of that protection out in front, although there is a deep backward square for Harish Kakani. 3 dots to start against Hotak as he navigated the end of the power play against a rampant Silicon Valley bowler. That one punched into the ground. That'll go wide of the man on the inner circle. Allows time to scramble the single. San Ramon very much in rebuild mode. That 4-3 record certainly leaves the opportunity to do some damage this weekend. You feel good about your chances against San Diego. They beat East Bay the first time they played them, and they took Silicon Valley to the last ball. But this is not working so far. It's another wicket for a lefty spinner, and this time it's Christopher Ramsaran dismissing Akash Sundaresan. And that is about as plumb as it gets. Leaning well forward, unable to get to that ball and put some lumber on it to save himself. 5 balls outside the power play. San Ramon 5 wickets down, 3rd LBW of the day. So Sundaresan gone for 5 off 9, and this is not happy reading on this batting card right now. Wickets lost at regular intervals. The big man Johnson gone 4 balls in. Since then, longest partnership's been 22. That for the second wicket before Ravindu Gunasekara went down. Since then, 4 wickets lost for just 8 runs in 20 deliveries. Absolutely harrowing. And there's a look again. And that delivery from Christopher Ramsaran to dismiss Akash. Zia Shahzad will take his place in at 7. Behind him is Mohammad Tahir Adil, who's got 5 career MILC runs. Certainly plenty of experience with Afghanistan A and Hindu Kush, but not much here in MILC. And then after that, 3 bowlers, Vatsal Vagela, Ayan Desai, and Taj Vali. It is a rough first 7 for San Ramon, 34 for 5.
United Tax, empowering your financial future. Expert financial planning, reliable taxation services, building wealth, minimizing tax, serving families and businesses nationwide. Contact us for further discussions.
A look at the batting card for San Ramon is rough reading, looking unsettlingly like a phone number, with the lone exception of the 15 off 9 for Rahul Jariwala, and the captain gave up his wicket in rather cheap fashion with that little scoop over the shoulder straight into the hands of Nawaz Khan at fine leg. Grizzlies find themselves 5 wickets down, just 7 overs in. Kakani on strike, dealing with the danger man. First delivery pushed through the offside. A single to begin, and that'll bring Zia Shahzad back on strike. Dot off the first ball he faced. A little bit of repair going on here at the boundary rope in the meanwhile, as Dilpreet Singh Bajwa seems to have picked up an abrasion on the right elbow. Another one pushed wide of the stumps for a single. Kamran seemed like he liked that ball, thought that he was going to get a little more reward for it. It seems that these two, the returning experienced campaigners for this Grizzlies side, Shahzad and Kakani, of a mind to just rotate strike and try and keep Hotak from applying too much pressure. That one run toward the gap in the deep on the onside. 4 singles to start. One more single. No matter what San Ramon post here, you know they're going to give it everything they got trying to defend it. That is certainly the way of it in this rivalry over the years. All three of those final ball defeats I mentioned came trying desperately to defend, in some cases rather small totals, against Silicon Valley's run chase. That one taps straight back to Hotak. It's the only delivery that won't be a single. A dot to finish over number 8. San Ramon 39 for 5. So far, the damage done by Kamran Hotak, figures of 3 for 8 so far for him. Ramsaran into the attack in the last over from the Tarika end, and he will continue. 1 for 2 for him. Of course, Yusuf Zazai, the early wicket to take out Aaron Johnson, and that conditions the whole innings when you don't have to deal with that guy. A single on the first from Ramsaran. That one is a little too hot to handle for the man inside the circle. It'll be a single, maybe 2. They look to take that second. Throw rolls its way in as the Grizzlies look for safe ways to try to up the run rate, as these two realize it pretty much has to be them to build something defensible. Gives you a sense of how rare it is to see Johnson out that early. So that one is tapped. That is just the 4th time in 10 minor league innings that he has been out shy of 50. To be gone on just 4. It happens in cricket, but it is unusual for this guy in this league. Pair of dot deliveries after the single and the double to start. A big rip from Zia Shahzad, trying to find the gap on the onside, but mid-wicket is over to claim. It'll just be 1. Certainly a far cry from what we saw in our first match today. The San Diego Surf Riders and East Bay Blazers both got through the first halves of their innings going at 9.5 runs and over. At early wicket, and then the bang from Kamran Hotak in the 4th over, responsible for really slowing things here in the early going for the men in red. 5 from that over. A double and 3 singles to go along with the 2 dots. 9 overs complete. San Ramon 44 for 5.
Real estate has been my life for the past 20 years.
Look, anyone can write a contract, but Alka guides you to the right decision.
Alka's enthusiasm and professionalism in the real estate field makes her tops.
Yeah, we've known Alka for almost 20 years. We've done 8 transactions with her. Do we need to say anything more?
And the Silicon Valley Strikers are going to bowl out Kamran Hotak right here. 4 consecutive after he came on in relief of the captain, Ramon. And all he did was take 3 wickets in his first 9 balls. First delivery of this over to Harish Kakani. Tapped back to Hotak on a hop. Another one knocked down again by the bowler. Sometimes you talk about a bowler and a wicketkeeper just playing catch. Right now, Cameron doesn't even need the guy with the gloves. Looking for the slog sweep and managing to get it out into the deep, but rolls its way straight to the deep protection. That one on a hop does not carry to Ramon Reefer in the covers, but another dot delivery. Deep protection at the moment at backwards square, mid-wicket, long off, long on, and sweeper cover. Just the one back behind that line square of the wicket. Swing and a miss. At this point, if you're Zia Shahzad, your goal is just to see this out because Hotak has been basically unsolvable for this club today. Last delivery of his spell, a lot of flight on that, rolled straight back to the 19-year-old Afghan lefty spinner. What a spell for him. He takes 3 wickets, claiming the scalps of Ravindu Gunasekara, Rahul Jariwala, and Sahil Garg for just 9 runs. We reach the halfway point. San Ramon with some rebuilding to do. 45 for 5 as we hit the drinks break.
From USA to India, experience journeys like never before. Book your tickets today with fantastic fare. Your ticket to cricket and beyond. Book today and celebrate with fantastic fare.
A reminder of what this match means in the playoff context with East Bay's win earlier today by 9 wickets over the San Diego Surf Riders. They are now 6-3. They have got a match in hand on the Seattle Thunderbolts and, of course, a massive advantage in net run rate over. Let me go ahead and put up the graphic for this while we're talking about it. Over the top of them. And so, barring a shocking defeat tomorrow, they are almost certainly going to the playoffs, and I mean a shockingly heavy defeat tomorrow. Silicon Valley Strikers, San Ramon Grizzlies here. If the Strikers win today's game, they would also go to 6-3, and both they and the Blazers would be playing for a spot in Morrisville tomorrow. If the Grizzlies can get the win, that would reduce Silicon Valley to 5-4. It would put the Grizzlies at 5-3. And in tomorrow's matches, Grizzlies would have a little bit of wiggle room. They could afford a loss and still know what they would have to do in their final match. And the same would be true of Silicon Valley. In fact, one of the things that really works against Seattle is the fact that even if Silicon Valley can't go 7-3, both the Strikers and the Grizzlies kind of get right of last rebuttal in playing San Diego and knowing exactly what kind of margin of victory they'd have to aim for to finish at 6-4 and ahead of Seattle. Doesn't mean it's easy to do, but it does give them knowledge that the Thunderbolts would not have had last weekend as they went through that 3-1 spell up at Tollgate Farms against the Bay Area sides. So that's where things stand here in the West. Now, elsewhere in the playoffs, the East is very nearly sewn up now. The New Jersey Stallions 8-0 after their victory earlier today against the NYC Titans. That eliminated NYC from contention. They started the year 3-1, but lost 4 in a row to the New Jersey sides. One of those New Jersey sides, the now 6-2 New Jersey Somerset Cavaliers, they're watching the Philadelphians, and if the Philadelphians fall to a 5th defeat, and right now they would require 48 runs from the last 4 overs to pick up win number 5 and go to 5-4 against the New England Eagles. If they don't achieve that, then it will be the 2 New Jersey teams going to Morrisville from the East. And we'll know that possibly in the next 20 minutes. Over in the South, action as well. Baltimore Royals, a 77-run win over the Atlanta Lightning that puts them and the Atlanta Fire absolutely in command of the South table. The Royals and the Fire will face off Saturday and Sunday at 11 and 7 a.m. respectively. Either team sweeps, that team will clinch a berth in Morrisville. Royals could get it with a split. First delivery in the back half of this first innings is another bouncer up at shoulder height. We see the signal. That'll be the one for the over, signaled by Sundaram Subramanian. Yusuf Zazai has been making good productive use of that bouncer here and there. Certainly part of that quick battle with Aaron Johnson that went 4 ... wicket. That one airborne for just a moment. They will look to take the quick single. Throw is well high. Kakani picks up a quick run, and he'll give the strike to Zia Shazad. Zia coming into play this week, 38 off 28 on the season with 2 dismissals. Not a whole lot to analyze, as he had faced almost entirely Pacers. That one run back of point. It was righty pace, actually, that Shazad was most effective against last season. Intended to stick around for a little bit if he could make it out of the first 10 balls. He's already done that here, 6 off 12 so far. Looking to get the eye in. Get this partnership feeling steady. And then at some point, they're going to need to attack if they're going to build something they can defend. You would imagine something around the 130 is probably the target at this point. That one run off the bat to Gary Graham. Yeah, the South getting close to being sorted. The Royals would just need 1 win out of the 2 against the Atlanta Fire to claim a spot. Fire, if they sweep, would claim a spot. And if the Atlanta Lightning lose 1 more, that would be just about it. Central's a lot more exciting, but none of that starts until 4 p.m. today. So we'll talk more about that in the second innings, as that is lashed and nearly caught on the follow-through by Yusuf Zazai. Stuck out the big left paw. Just couldn't quite find it. Get a look here. As he leapt for it. Oh, in fact, did get a touch to it. That's definitely a drop. Oh, it's a bump ball. Okay. My mistake. Didn't catch that there. I do suppose that explains why they weren't quite so excited about it. Or distraught. Both batters striking at 50 right now. Zazai steaming in with the last delivery of this over. Another bump ball. Looking to take the quick single, and the throw to Adapalli is going to get away from him. Briefly thought about turning and trying to take another run, but Dilpreet Singh Bajwa quickly to the overthrow. And it'll just be the 1. First over after drinks doesn't yield a wicket, but it is a tight one, just 3 from it. San Ramon 48 for 5. It will be a change of bowlers by necessity at the near end of the ground, Atul's end. as Kamran Hotak had bowled the last 4 in a row there. That's used up his spell, so it'll be Nawaz Khan into the attack from Atul's end. Nawaz so far has almost exclusively faced right-handed batters, and that's not going to change here. That's all that San Ramon have at the crease at the moment. They do have Desai and Vagela from the left side down the card, but have no interest in deploying them any sooner than is absolutely necessary. First delivery is lifted into the air, and that will be out of the park for a 6. Welcome news that, as that is the first boundary since the 3rd over. Nearly 8 full overs had gone by without anything reaching the rope. There had been a 4 by Aaron Johnson in the first over, a pair of 4s by Jadiwala in the second over, and 1 off Zazai in his second over of work from the Tadika end, and then nothing in the midst of all of the carnage, the other 4 wickets falling. That is necessary. Khan shortens up the length on the second delivery, fended off by Kakani, but no run there. Nawaz debuted in two-tone blue against San Ramon, took 2 wickets for 24 runs. In his 8 overs since, though, 1 for 66. As I was mentioning, 70 of his 72 balls delivered have been to right-handed bats. Stepping forward is Harish Kakani, and he'll run that one to Bajwa at long on. At a little more of what is going to be necessary to get anywhere defensible. For those wondering, though, one of the wickets he took in that first meeting was Harish Kakani. Zia Shahzad on strike right now. Works one off the pads towards the mid-wicket region. Deep protection out there. That's a single. Continuing to monitor events in the Eastern Division over at the New York Ovals. And Philadelphians are now 8 wickets down, so even with 17 balls to get 44, they might not get to face all 17. That one is shot towards Ramon Reefer. Kakani drifted down the track a little bit, but scurries back as Reefer guns that throw into the wicketkeeper's end. As a reminder, if that Philadelphians game turns out as a New England win, that is all she wrote for the East. It'll be the Somerset Cavaliers and the Stallions going through as number 1 and number 2. Stallions could lock up a division title by winning either of their last 2 games against Philly and New England the next 2 days. That one is roped, but right at the deep protection at mid-wicket. So a few hard-hit balls following the 6, but only 3 more runs from them. 9 off of Navas' first. 12 overs gone. San Ramon 57 for 5.
United Tax, empowering your financial future. Expert financial planning, reliable taxation services, building wealth, minimizing tax, serving families and businesses nationwide. Contact us for further discussions.
Kakani with that 6 in the last over, edging in the direction of a run of ball. Zia Shahzad still a little better than 1 every 2. Grizzlies trying to up the tempo, but they'll have to do it against Christopher Ramsaran here, who returns after Zazai bowled 1 over from the Tadika end. Seven runs and 1 wicket off his first 2. The first delivery is flagged down by Reefer, but will go for a single. A leaping attempt. He does manage to keep it on the infield and prevent any boundary from that delivery, but might well have been a chance, albeit a sharp one. That's well struck, but again, picking out the fielder in the deep at sweeper cover. Another single. Ramsaran into the team, in part due to the absence of Saurabh Netravalkar. He's got some experience himself in the CPL, played with the Zooks, back when they were still called the Zooks, which is the era I prefer for the St. Lucia team. That one is driven on a couple of hops, a hot shot. It'll be a single as the throw comes ripping in from Shahan Jayasuriya. Or correction, Nawaz Khan, rather. Took 3 wickets in 5 matches with them back in the day. Was actually a teammate of his current captain, Ramon Reefer, with combined colleges and campuses in his lone first-class innings. Took 2 for 32 in that. Now trying to pick out the gap is Zia Shahzad. Long run to his right, but coverable by sweeper cover. And a pair there. Again, San Ramon trying to up the tempo a bit. Lefty wrist spinner puts one right in the block hole. Shahzad only able to fight it off. So far going at even a run a ball has been a challenge. Shahzad down looking for the sweep. That's a dot to finish things here in this over. Just 4 runs and over so far against Ramsaran, 5 from this one. San Ramon 62 for 5 through 13. As we'll take a look here at that last delivery. Maybe hints of a wide, but if that line travels with Zia Shahzad as he stepped across the stumps, then all kosher. A little bit of pad adjustment here for Harish Kakani as we get ready for over number 14. Silicon Valley have done about 2/3 of the job so far. And it'll be Shahan Jayasuriya coming in. In fact, I take it back. That was Shahan who gunned in that throw earlier. I was just surprised to see no number on his back. But I know that hat. I know that style. And when he starts bowling that slingy off spin, there will be no doubt that's who you're looking at. So Shahan Jayasuriya to bowl the next from Atul's end. First delivery shot right back past Jayasuriya, and just like with Nawaz, first ball in the attack for Shahan travels to the boundary. This one's skating along the manicured carpet here. You see a little overpitched. Easy enough for that straight drive off the bat of Harish Kakani, who's almost up to a run a ball now. Has begun operating with some boundaries. Shahan's going to change the angle. No, never mind. Thought he was going to come round for a moment, but it is still over the wicket. Almost to the exact same spot as the first one, but this time around not as much force. And with Dilpreet Singh Bajwa posted right where it went. Single off that one, and Shahzad back on strike. Zia, one of the top all-rounders in this league in 2021 as he picks up a single. Think back to that 2021 team here for the Grizzlies that went 13-3, won the Western Division, and made the Pacific Conference title game after sweeping the Houston Hurricanes. Kakani continuing to pick out long off. That year, that team lost exactly 3 games, 2 in the regular season and the Pacific Conference Final, and all 3 of them were to this Silicon Valley Strikers team. They have been a bugaboo for as long as they've existed. This one is a hot shot knocked down after a tough hop over at the mid-wicket boundary. Boy, that was not simple. I think based on the hat, I believe that's... No, that's not Christopher Ramsaran out there. Not quite sure who. Might have been Hotak. Either way, limits that to a single when it looked like it might eat him up. That one's airborne for a moment, wide of Dilpreet Singh, but he's going to have time to get to it. They'll come back for the 2. The throw is to Shahan's end. And so runs off every delivery of the Jayasuriya over. 10 of them in total, featuring that straight 4 off the bat of Kakani on the first ball of the over. 14 gone, San Ramon 72 for 5. Six overs left to build a total. The run rate has been pushed up into the 5s, which would put San Ramon on pace at least for a triple-digit score. They are on the season 2-2 when batting first. As we said, every game close, but the lowest total they've posted was 127. Highest, the 148 they hung on Silicon Valley in their first meeting that was chased down on the final ball. That delivery is flagged down by Gary Graham, backwards of point. As Christopher Ramsaran will bowl out in this over here. A dot to start his final frame. Or correction, a single to start his final frame, and another single following that. A 4 following that, sorry. Lost sight of the ball after it left the bat. Distracted by the single on the scorecard that I didn't think happened. At any rate, a look here at that slog sweep to mid-wicket. Good work by Zia Shahzad trying to up the tempo both for his innings and that of his squad. That is a pretty bit of coordination there. Beautiful thing about cricket strokes like that, as it is confirmed that the first ball was a dot. Okay, good. I thought I was losing my mind. I probably am losing my mind, but that's not the evidence of it. Shahzad thinking about stepping across his stumps, thinks better of it, shoots this one to the offside for a single. I was about to say, just the joy of a proper cricket shot, the coordination, the footwork, in some cases the contraction of the entire trunk to get yourself in position, and then the hand-eye to get that thing moving into a gap nobody's occupying. That one is in the air and very, very handsome over the top of cow corner. Harish Kakani follows up Shahzad's 4 with a maximum. San Ramon trying to get a move on here in the final over of Christopher Ramsaran. Little of the full majesty blocked from view by Yusuf Zazai in the field, but all you need to see is the arc on that one. Kakani now 33 off 29. He'll work a quick single after that, and his partnership actually with that single has just gone to 50. And this is exactly what they needed when these two stepped in. Shahzad delicately with the face of the bat trying to run it back behind. Nawaz Khan alert to it. And that will end the over. A little dirtied up there. Chris Ramsaran had been very economical through his first 3 overs, but the 4 and the 6 mean that he goes at exactly a run a ball. The wicket of Akash Sundaresan as well. He finishes 1 for 24. We hit the death overs. San Ramon 84 for 5.
From USA to India, experience journeys like never before. Book your tickets today with fantastic fare. Your ticket to cricket and beyond. Book today and celebrate with fantastic fare.
And there is the partnership, 50 from 49. It hasn't been at 1,000,000 miles an hour. It couldn't be. They needed to consolidate. They needed to make sure they had some solidity to this innings. And they've gotten that job done here and are moving their way towards a total that they may well find a way to defend. We've seen far smaller totals defended than the 112 they are currently on pace for. I think back to the eliminator in Santa Clara in 2023 when Silicon Valley only got to a 97 target on the final delivery with their 10 and 11 batters in. First delivery to Harish Kakani to start this over. It's out of the hand of Nawaz Khan, and it's blasted along the carpet towards mid-wicket. Another single here as San Ramon continue to up the counter. Stepping across and lifting this in the air, it is going to fall short of the fielder at a wideish fine leg. And it is just a single. Off the bat, there were thoughts of it being a 4, then briefly thoughts of it being a wicket. Nothing that dramatic. Zia Shahzad looking for a little invention as he tries to get himself up over the run-a-ball mark. Kakani already there. 35 off 31. That one is over the top of a drawn-in cover fielder and across for a 4. Kakani continuing to push the pace. Just a gorgeous cut there. That puts Harish Kakani now just 4 runs shy of his personal best in MILC. Throws the shot a little soon on that follow-up delivery, but does run it into a space where he can take the single. Partnership continuing to motor. Zia back on strike. Starting to feel it a little bit. He's got 1-4 so far. Oh, he is done for, though. Nawaz Khan strikes back. and uproots the woodwork behind Zia Shazad. That's all she wrote for Zia. 18 off the 25 he faced. As Navas bowls a little bit of an off-cutter there. Just enough purchase in the surface to spin back through the gate. An uproot leg stump. 6 wickets down, just 4 of them, or rather just 2 of them I should say, have required any assistance from fielders. 2 LBWs, 3 LBWs actually, and now a clean bowled. That ends the partnership at 57 runs. And it brings out Mohammad Tahir Adil to partner Kakani. Partnership added those 57 runs in exactly 9 overs. So 57 from 54. Has been fast enough to start pushing San Ramon toward that run-a-ball mark. A big enough finish, maybe they can work their way towards something like a 130. They need to go at 10s to do that from this point. And you would expect, at least for the next over or two, that it would be mostly Kakani as Adil tries to get his eye in. Adil just 2 innings so far in MILC, 5 runs off 3 deliveries. He'll pick up 1 off the first he faces here. It is the last of that Navas Khan over. After going for 9 in his first, goes for 8 in his second and takes the wicket to break the big 57-run partnership. 6 down now, 92 for 6 with 4 overs to go. Over in the East, it is all done. The Philadelphians fall by 26 runs to the New England Eagles, and as a result, no one's going to be able to catch the New Jersey sides. The Stallions and the Somerset Cavaliers, both on their way to Morrisville for the Super 8s. Congratulations to those. I'll see you there. Here in the West, lots to decide. East Bay have seized control. Silicon Valley looking to do the same. The Grizzlies trying to author a total that they can string out and get one of those classic late nail-biting finishes between blue and red. It's Ramon Reefer back into the attack, bowling from the Tarika end. This will be his second from that side. He went for 4 runs in his first over from here. Tahir dangles the bat, but not able to make contact. So far, 4 off 8 from this side of the ground, 10 off 6 in his first over when he opened up Atul's end in over number 2. Went for a pair of boundaries, a wide, and a single. Adil into a slog sweep, and that one's into the player benches. Goodness gracious, that got here in a hurry. Very fine and endangering some of Vishal's equipment. Down into that sweep as it drifts down leg. And certainly with Tahir's guard being on off stump, even a pretty decent delivery from Reefer has that look of nearly being a leg stump wide. And now he'll go the other side. Fakes the move across the stumps, stays back. Reefer follows him out where he thought he was going. And Mohammad Tahir just opens the face of the bat and runs it down to third man. Both in placement and in shot quality. The word fine. That's the word you want. Pair of boundary strokes for the new batter. The second of them brings up the 100 for San Ramon. And back when they were 34 for 5 after 7 overs, had to wonder if they would ever get to this point. The other thing that 4 does is for the first time in the innings, since the dismissal of Aaron Johnson, actually maybe since the middle of that stretch where Rahul and Ravindu went down, Grizzlies are back at a run a ball for the duration of the innings. 100 off 100. Yeah, they were admittedly at 27 for 3 through 4 overs when Jadiwala went down, but after that, things dove for a while. Looking for a little more. It's another dot delivery, feast or famine so far for Mohammad Tahir Adil. But that 9 off 5, useful. 20 balls left in this innings. Oh, in fact, not even a dot delivery. That was a wide from Ramon Reefer. My apologies. Tahir works that one off the shoes. Little punch to long on and another single. 1 ball remaining in the over, and it'll be faced by Harish Kakani, sitting on 40 from 33. Deep protection for Kakani, all out in front. Takes a big rip, but it's big swing, no ding. And that'll be the over here as Reefer goes for another 10-run over. 2 fours, a wide, and a single. Almost a photocopy. In fact, actually ball for ball a copy of what he did in his very first over of the game. 17 gone. San Ramon 102 for 6.
United Tax, empowering your financial future. Expert financial planning, reliable taxation services, building wealth, minimizing tax, serving families and businesses nationwide. Contact us for further discussions.
A look at the San Ramon Manhattan, and it has been tough at times to get things built here. 2 big overs early in the power play before the wickets began to tumble, and then a very fallow patch in the middle. They have been amping it up recently, though. 9, 10, 12, 8, 10 from some of those recent overs. Just that one 13-run over, or 13th over, I should say, to try to interrupt that stretch. There are three overs to go. It's going to be Yusuf Zazai, and a change of ends for him as he'll bowl the last over of his spell from a tool's end. So far, he's gone at a run a ball. Took 1 wicket. It was on his 4th delivery. That to Aaron Johnson just after he had conceded all of Johnson's runs in one lump sum, a 4 on the first ball of the game. Rising to meet that one is Mohammad Tahir Adil, and he'll dump that into the area behind square leg. Single off the first. Zazai, somebody who doesn't get a ton of motion in the air. His main thing are the variations in length and pace. As he goes full on the ball right after the bouncer and gives you a proper demonstration of exactly what I was talking about. That one hit to Taruna Dada, the sub fielder at long on. Temperature's risen to 81 degrees and the wind has died down here in Morgan Hill. Started the morning rather, action at 70 degrees, extremely pleasant. And then had a period back end of the first game and the beginning of this one that was crazy windy. Another very full delivery from Zazai, really looking for that block hole. 3 singles as the Grizzlies continue to go at exactly a run a ball. 105 from 105, 15 balls to go. Looking for a crescendo. If they could get another 20 to 30 off these last 15 deliveries, I think they'd feel pretty good about trying to bowl on this surface. Off-pace Yorker, that one is in the air. Ramon Reefer camped under it, and Harish Kakani will be dismissed 2 runs short of his MILC high score. Very demonstrative yes from Yusuf Zazai as he takes his 2nd wicket of the encounter. And that was the big fish, and the crescendo is going to be a challenge now. It will fall to Mohammad Tahir Adil as there are just 3 bowlers remaining in the shed for the San Ramon Grizzlies. Ayan Desai, Vatsal Vagela, and Taj Vali. It's going to be Ayan coming out first. So we get a look here at that ball as Kakani just unable to control the shot. Skews off the bat toward the offside. Nowhere near the required oomph. "14 balls left to build the total, and a new partnership to try to get some of that done." Looks like Zazai is going to come round the wicket to the new man, Ayan Desai, coming in from the left side. Zazai wearing the 66 that Silicon Valley Strikers fans might associate with Paji back in the day, Kulvinder Singh. Another Yorker. This one's going to sneak under the reach of Zazai, but it is backed up. And now the throw is going to be a little wild, and that'll let Mohammad Tahir Adil face the final delivery of this over. 4 singles from it, but that big wicket. Ayan Desai off the mark. 33 runs off 70 balls faced now for Ayan in his MILC career, a high of 9. Mohammad Tahir here into double figures for the first time in this league. And looking for more. Zazai, final ball of his spell, maybe looking to slam the door. Pulls out of the run-up. He will be over the wicket to the right-hander, Tahir. Again going Yorker length, and Zazai has nailed that just about every time. This one does get worked out to Adada at long on for another single. So 5 singles from the over, but the big wicket of Harish Kakani. 12 balls left. San Ramon 107 for 7. The captain, Ramon Reefer, is going to keep the ball and bowl the final over from the Tarika end, penultimate over of this first innings. So far, Reefer has gone for 24 runs in his 3 overs of work. A pair of 10-run overs on either side of a 4-run over. Has bowled a pair of wides, which are somewhat remarkably the only extras of the innings so far. First delivery edged by Tahir, and that is going to run to the boundary at a very, very fine third leg. Just past the reach of Amog Adapali behind the stumps. Nelson for 7 now as San Ramon look for a flourish even with the very tail end of their lineup involved. In fact, that one mainly gets under Amog that time around. Thought it might have been wide of him watching it live. Just added enough of a deflection to make it challenging to get the body in front of. Into the sweep. That'll be to the man at backwards square. They'll just manage the single. It's going to put Desai on strike. They navigate the Nelson. Adil now 18 off 11. And with those 18 runs, ties Zia Shahzad for the high score in today's game for those not named Harish Kakani. You look at a scorecard and you see the 3 highest scores coming from the batters at number 6, 7, and 8. That tells you all you really need to know about how the day has gone. It tells you it wasn't fun at the start. It tells you probably have kind of a low score. But the better those scores are, the better situation you might be in. Desai scoops that one towards long on. Wants a second. The throw is going to be to the wicketkeeper's end. Might have had Tahir in trouble if they had decided to go to Reefer's end. The throw, though, goes the long way from Pranay Suri in the deep. Suri, one of a handful of bowlers that we have not seen, potential bowlers that we have not seen from Silicon Valley today. Haven't seen Yuvraj Samra, haven't seen Dilpreet Singh Bajwa. Actually, that's not a handful. Those are it. That one is going to be another big boundary off the bat. This time, though, of Ayan Desai. A little on the streaky side as it takes that under edge. And Amogadapalli has been maybe a collective 4 inches from stopping a pair of boundary strokes in this over. We'll get a better view of this one from behind as that just narrowly misses leg stump. Back to live action over the wicket. Almost the same exact thing. This time Adapalli does stop it. $11 so far off this final over from Ramon Reefer. We mentioned 130 as a potential score to target. San Ramon, especially with a boundary off this last one, would definitely be in range to get there, and that's the sort of thing that on this pitch that no one else has batted on yet today might put some thoughts into the head of the Silicon Valley strikers. Last ball from Reefer. And that's going to be all for Ayan Desai. He tries to get himself into position for a scoop over the top. Misses everything. And that one is straight into the woodwork. So Reefer on his final delivery strikes. He'll finish with figures of 1 for 35. That one, oh, it did not miss everything. I think he actually gloved it onto the stumps on that full toss. May have given the game away a little early and induced that decision from Reefer to bowl something at his body and make that as challenging as possible. Either way, though, for Desai, 7 off 5. He departs on the final delivery of the 19th. And now it'll be Taj Vali out to the crease. If 130 is your goal, you need 2 a ball off of this, and Tajwali could be the kind of guy that could get that for you. Of course, he's not on strike to start. 16 off 11 so far this season in his action in minor league, but you think back to East Bay when he came out to the middle, faced the last 2 balls of an innings, and hit a 4 and a 6, and that wound up mattering quite a bit as East Bay lost that game to the Grizzlies by 7. It's Nawaz Khan to bowl the last over of this first innings from Atul's end. Little on the short side. That one bashed into the ground by Mohammad Tahir Adil. No run there. Wali with the number 75 on his back at the non-striker's end. Mohammad Tahir Adil, useful cameo here, 18 so far off 12. Nice connection there. I'll just let you listen to the San Ramon Grizzlies bench as the appreciation for that massive 6 off the bat of Mohammad Tahir Adil. Hold the pose. That was struck. Picked up the slightly short delivery, lifted it over cow corner. Nothing to be done but to admire and fetch. Tahir going at 2 runs a ball. Steps forward, tries to push that one wide of Ramon Reefer, but unable to get it past him. That'll be another dot. As they repair the scorecard there and get ready to add the dot, 6 dot, 3 balls left, 124 for 8. There we go, all repaired. Tries to use the feet. That one's going to be run into the vacant area at mid-on. They will try to come back for the second, and it's a direct hit. And the end of Tajwali. He'll depart with the dreaded platinum duck as he is run out by that fantastic throw. It was always going to be a tough one there. Taro Nadada, the sub-fielder, was always going to be a challenge, even if Nawaz had to field and guide it on. But on a direct hit, it was not even close. That will get, however, Mohammad Tahir Adil out to, or back on strike for the final 2 deliveries. San Ramon now 125 for 9. It will show once all is updated. Vatsal Vagela at the non-striker's end. You would expect this is 2 deliveries with Adil looking to hit them as far as he possibly can. Rears back. That one's rolled along the ground. They will get the first, and that's going to get by Adada and will allow the second run. So the total ticks up to 127. One ball remaining, 127 for 9. The official score. We mentioned 130. A boundary would get that done. What does Tahir have on this final ball of the innings? It's a swing and a miss. They will look to take the bye. The toss, though, is over to Nawaz Khan. And so there will be no asterisk next to Adil's name at the end of all this. He will go with 27 off of 17. And his team will be 127 all out as he is run out trying to take that bye. Vagela did well to take off. Adil not quite quick enough, and it was always going to be a little dicey. So we'll take a look at the batting and bowling cards here. Of course, they are going to be a little incomplete as some work is still left to do. To finalize the stats. But I can tell you here, as they continue to do the surgery on that Mohamed Tahir Adil should finish off with 27, I believe, off 17 balls faced once they get that straightened out. They've accidentally given Vatsal Vagela 2 of his runs there, but they'll figure that out sooner or later. At any rate, the big star of the show today in the first innings, Harish Kakani, and it was his partnership for 57 runs with Zia Shahzad that was responsible for getting this anywhere near being defensible. I'll remind you here, so far, this team, the San Ramon Grizzlies, have had 2 7-run wins, and they've never gone higher than 148. They have had 2 last over losses. This is going to wind up at 128 for 10, all out, apparently. And so just barely over their low score when batting first this season. But definitely in a range where they can make something of it. You've got to see what that pitch does for the opposing team once they get their crack at it. But the 41, massively important. The cameo there at the end from Mohamed Tahir Adil, maybe even more so. A look at the bowlers for the men in two-tone blue. Silicon Valley Strikers get a phenomenal spell out of Kamran Hotak. 3 wickets, just 9 runs from his 4, and the value of those wickets as he took out Ravindu Gunasekara and Rahul Jariwala in the span of 4 balls. Later on would get Sahil Garg at the end of the power play. Just brilliant work from him. Christopher Ramsaran got rid of Akash Sundaresan. He went at a run a ball, but that is skewed a bit by one final over that went for 12. He had given up 12 in the first 3 combined before that. Yusuf Zazai, the early strike, he takes out Aaron Johnson. Later on claims Harish Kakani. Talk about high-value wickets there as he goes 2 for 23 from his 4 overs. Jayasurya and Nawaz Khan get you the balance, and we will await the full cleanup of that scorecard in the next handful of minutes. But when we do come back here for our second innings, the target, to our knowledge, 129. And that is what it will take for the Silicon Valley Strikers to go to 6-3 and put themselves potentially a win away from a spot in Morrisville. We'll be right back with that in about 15. Welcome back, cricket fans of America. Morgan Hill, California are setting the last game to be played here in 2025 minor league cricket. We do have everything worked out now. It is indeed a 129 target. It turns out that last delivery that induced the run out was a wide, so a free run was taken. However, the run out did still stand of Mohammad Tahir Adil, and that leaves us with that target, 129, for the Silicon Valley Strikers to move one big step closer to the Super 8s. It's going to be Yuvraj Samra and Amog Adepalli to open the batting here for the men in two-tone blue. And it appears it will be, as it often is, Ayan Desai opening the bowling. He'll be doing that from Atul's end. As you see now there, the indication, the one thing they still have not fixed is that at present they still have the 2 runs on that original 2 credited to Vatsal Vagela. Those should both also go to Mohammad Tahir Adil for his 27. But that's just a little bit of arithmetic, something a little academic. The real key is 129, what's going to be chased as Ayan Desai steams in over the wicket. First delivery to Adepalli is worked to the onside for a single. No, they're going to try and come back for the second, and we'll have that opportunity. Ball mismanaged in the deep. And so a 2 to start as the scorecard resets. Amog Adepalli, bit of a revelation this season for the Silicon Valley Strikers. Had not suited up for any game action in minor league cricket in 2 years on the East Bay setup. Gone! We won't get a chance to introduce him much more. Ayan Desai off running like Imran Tahir. And Amog Adepalli gone for 2. Goodness gracious, Ayan Desai doing Ayan Desai things early. And this one just cramping him as he goes for that full length. Right at middle stump. And sneaks it through the defenses of Amog Adepalli. Feels like the old James Bond. They send one of ours to the hospital, we send one of theirs to the morgue. Aaron Johnson was gone LBW 4 balls into the first innings. Ayan Desai has sent a Silicon Valley opener back to the shed, just 2 balls into the chase. A look briefly here at the stat line for Ayan Desai this season. I thought. Might not be cooperating. We'll go back to the scorecard. At any rate, I'll give it to you verbally. That's his 7th wicket of the season. He's been taking them at roughly 26 runs per. 1 every 21 balls. And he has been murder on right-handed batters. It's about a 2-run per over difference in his economy between the two. A little tougher against lefties, but he's got another one! Ayan Desai on a hat trick! And right away, the story of this match changing in the span of just 3 deliveries. That one chopped on. And it'll be Dilpreet Singh Bajwa coming in to replace the man dismissed on a golden duck. Goodness gracious, one more look here. Barely got a chance to even introduce Shehan Jayasuriya. Earlier today, Sujith Gowda made some big moves towards the 2,000-run club that does not yet exist. Shehan Jayasuriya about 157 runs outside of that, but he's going to need Silicon Valley in all likelihood to make the Super 8s. to get a chance to join that later on this year, because he's only got 1 innings left, his penultimate innings of the season. A single ball. Silicon Valley 2 for 2. In the history of minor league cricket, there have been 12 hat tricks, 3 of them this year. Deveshwari Prasad of Philadelphia against New England in opening weekend. And then the weekend after that, Abhimanyu Lamba took 4 in 4 for St. Louis, against Chicago Tigers. Amila Aponzo, a hat trick the next day for Atlanta Lightning against Orlando. Here comes Desai on a hat trick. Gone! No! No, it is not. It's happened again. Another one that lights up a stump but does not take the bail off. Can you tell I wanted it? Goodness gracious, what caused the stump to light up on my end? Goodness gracious, Dilpreet Singh Bajwa survives the hat trick ball. Got a piece of it, and the LEDs fooled your well-meaning commentator. Face of the bat closed and the ball guided wide. The San Ramon Grizzly dugout getting loud in support of their man. Yuvraj Samra at the other end has just had to watch. This is the Ayan Desai we saw in purple and gold 2 seasons ago when he made his name. That one's straight back in his direction. It'll be claimed by Zia Shahzad, who will gun it down to his wicketkeeper and captain, Rahul Jariwala. 2 off the first ball, and then wicket, A little mini heart attack in the middle there, too. Silicon Valley threw 1 over. 2 for the loss of 2.
Real estate has been my life for the past 20 years.
Look, anyone can write a contract, but Alka guides you to the right decision.
Alka's enthusiasm and professionalism in the real estate field makes her tops.
Yeah, we've known Alka for almost 20 years. We've done 8 transactions with her. Do we need to say anything more?
Yuvraj Samra will face his first delivery in just a moment, and it'll be from Taj Wali. And you want to talk about out of the frying pan, potentially into the fire. Taj Wali has been the most lethal bowler in this side from the very start of the season. Took 2 or 3 wickets in every match of the Labor Day weekend. Was held without joy in Seattle 2 weeks back. First delivery's down the leg side, and that'll be a wide. His 13 wickets coming into the weekend tied him for 8th in MILC. And he's got more dot balls than all but 7 other bowlers in the league as well. An economy of 5.56, and that's despite conceding 7s in his 7 overs of work up in the Pacific Northwest. That one's run right back past the hand of Wali, but Samra will scamper back. Yuvraj Samra, 18-year-old Canadian international, made his debut for Silicon Valley last weekend, recording 2 runs off of 11 deliveries faced, a golden duck and a 2 off 10. But he was massive in those America's T20 World Cup qualifiers in June. Had a 50 not out off 15, a 25 not out off 9, and a 45 off 23. Taps that one into the ground. He is still rooted to his crease. Goodness gracious, Ion Desai. That first over was exactly what the Grizzlies needed to produce a little belief they'd be able to get something done here in this run chase, in this defense. Aaron Johnson was in as a slip earlier. He is going to move out a little wider now to square leg. Ion Desai, one of the deep men, at a very fine third. That one's airborne from Sambra, and that looks like it might be his first boundary in minor league. Sahil Garg will put in the chase, but it makes it to the rope. Welcome to the league, eh? That one drifting a bit down leg and well scooped and deposited where no one was located. Deep protection actually behind Yuvraj Samra on both sides. A backward square and Ion Desai at fine leg, or at third rather. That one guided through a gap on the offside, and that looks like it'll be runs. May well be 4 of them, and it is. Look here at the second of 2 rather tasty shots. Just a confident cover drive off the bat of Yuvraj Samra. Trying to get himself comfortable here in minor league cricket. The ball dropped into the offside for another single. Still 1 ball left in the over. The wide on the first delivery to be rebowled. Sambra gets himself off the mark now, 9 off 5 for the Canadian. .161 career T20I strike rate. Strikers will want a little more of that out of their tall teenage opener. For now, though, it's his fellow Canadian international, Dilpreet Singh Bajwa. First ball he faces from Tajwali is guided wide of the men in the circle, and that's another 4. So a tough first over for Wali. He travels for 14, including 3 boundary strokes. 2 of them delightful cover drives. One the mirror image of the one prior. With that, Silicon Valley 16 for the loss of 2. Ion Desai, of course, will continue from Atul's end. First over was something special. Hits the block hole properly. Bunted away to the offside and a dot delivery. He's had 6 of them in a row since the 2 on his first ball. First 2 of those dots sent players trudging back off to the pavilion. Clean bowled Amog Adepalli, and then got Jayasurya to chop on the first ball he faced. Thought we had a hat trick. LEDs playing tricks on your announcer. That ball bunted back towards a short third man. The throw is going to get away. Good work backing up by Mohamed Tahir Adil. He'll prevent that from being any more than it has to be. Just one overthrow after the single taken on the ball rolled back to third man. Desai, just an absolute athlete when he's steaming in. I struggle to think of anybody who seems to be moving quicker as he releases the ball in this league. Bashes that one into the deck. Punched right back through him, and that'll be a single. Throw ends up being a direct hit over at the wicketkeeper's end, but nothing doing. Dilpreet Singh Bajwa now on strike, following the single. Deep protection for him is at backward square and at third as well. Aaron Johnson in all his height, camped over at third in case Bajwa tries to go aerial. Swing and a miss. Stays within the tram lines though. Dilpreet Singh Bajwa played a season of minor league back in 23 with the Seattle Thunderbolts. 220 runs at a 97 strike rate, which I had forgotten that he'd had trouble getting himself up and moving, because I mainly remember him for an insane innings in Seattle where he lost half a box of cricket balls. Drops that one towards third man. That will be a single. Up with it quickly is AJ. It's a match where, if I recall correctly, he was somewhere in the vicinity of 35 off 35, and then before you knew it, he was at 85 off 40, or off of 50 rather. If he had started that way, it would have been one of the quickest 50s in MILC history, and with quite a bit of panache. Last ball of the over, though, is to Yuvraj Samra. Nearly held inside the circle. Doesn't matter, though. Runners had decided to stay put as it was. 4 runs off the second from Desai. He's got figures of 2 for 6 through 2. Silicon Valley, 20 for the loss of 2 through 3.
From USA to India, experience journeys like never before. Book your tickets today with fantastic fare. Your ticket to cricket and beyond. Book today and celebrate with fantastic fare.
$20 for 2 through 3. Required run rate in this chase just under 6.5. Silicon Valley at the moment just over 6.5. But those 2 early wickets threatening to condition things, and if the Grizzlies can make a few more inroads inside the power play, this could get very interesting very fast. They are going to turn to the young spinner Akash Sundaresan. Akash so far on the season, 6 wickets at a little over 19 runs per. 5.48 on the economy, but do watch out. 11% of all the runs he's conceded have been wides. He's had a little trouble in some of the games with his radar. Starts strong here, though, with a dot. That one's struck, but it's stopped by the man at slip, Aaron Johnson. Deep protection against Deepening Singh Bajwa with the spinner in is now at mid-wicket and at long on. List this one, though, in the air to the offside. Nobody there, and that'll be the first maximum of this innings. So far, Desai at Atul's end has been locked down. Tadika end. Grizzlies are leaking boundaries. 3 4s against Wali, and now that 6. With this field that you just can't bowl it there. That is begging Bajwa to go aerial, especially if you don't get the length right. No changes to the field, though. That one is a little more like it. You need something that cramps him to give you a chance at creating that edge. Or you need that length just a little bit fuller, like that. Something that can get it to the slip. But you go too short on that wide ball, and next thing you know, it's traveling over long off. Hit right back in the direction of Akash. He's got backup. That'll be another dot delivery. The economy's been really good, and if he can keep his radar right, it'll be even better. Trying to free his hands is Dilpreet Singh. They'll look to take a quick single. The throw is down to Akash's end. They are in with the run. It's 7 off that frame. Silicon Valley, courtesy of a big 6 over long off from Dilpreet Singh Bajwa, now at 27 for 2. This the last match we have in the Western Division and here in Morgan Hill today in minor league cricket, but there is one match that has just gotten underway about 45 minutes ago. That the first of the weekend in the Central, and we're going to talk a lot more in the next couple of days as it comes into focus about what's happening in the Central Division. But over there, the first game between the Dallas Exphoria Giants and Kings 11 Dallas is underway, and about 8.5 overs in, Exphoria Giants 96 for no loss. An unbeaten now Century partnership make it 102 for no loss. Shayan Jahangir already at 69 off 33. Smit Patel ably supporting him. And so the Central Division, a lot to decide there. 6 teams out of the 8 in contention. Vatsal Vagela will bowl now from Atul's end. First delivery to DP Singh Bajwa, a swing and a miss. Vagela so far, its boundaries are nothing against him inside the power play. And he's looking for one of those, but it looks like it'll hold up. Long run, nearly caught in spectacular fashion by Sahil Garg, but it will be a pair. So I should have gotten this stat out before he made it slightly incorrect, but so far this season, 1 out of every 4 power play balls he's bowled has been hit to the boundary. But before that one, he had given up 1 run off the other 10 deliveries that weren't part of that 1 in 4. Now make it 3 off 11. And there is the sort of rip that has been happening, as we said, once every 4 balls. This time it happens on the 3rd one. DP Singh Bajwa drilling one for 6. And this time just a little full and a little direct. Bajwa gets that down on one knee and sweeps that away over cow corner. Rahul Jadiwala, wicketkeeper and captain, out for a conversation with a young man who, even at 23 years old, is considered one of the senior cricketers. Flattens this one out a bit. It's pushed wide of Vagela. Up comes Zia Shahzad to claim. Told you earlier today, elsewhere, that's all that's going on in the Central. Earlier today here in the West, Blazers over the Surf Riders. They get the chase done with about 4 overs to spare and with 9 wickets in hand. And with that, have just about booked themselves a ticket to Morrisville. They still have a little bit of work to do, or even just some waiting for folks to be unable to do the massive amount of work that it would take to dethrone them. That one shot back through and claimed by Harish Kakani. No run on there. In the East, Stallions won, Philadelphians lost, and so that division settled. The South still a bit up for grabs, but Baltimore and the Atlanta Fire looking more and more like your two teams coming out of that division. 2 dots to finish here. Just one off the last 3 balls following the big 6 from Singh. Only one mistake, 9 runs from it. Silicon Valley 36 for 2 through 5.
United Tax, empowering your financial future. Expert financial planning, reliable taxation services, building wealth, minimizing tax, serving families and businesses nationwide. Contact us for further discussions.
Last over of the power play is handed to Tajwali. 34-year-old lefty pacer from Peshawar. 290 first-class wickets in his career. And he started his minor league career strong, but looking for a little bit of a return to form. As we mentioned, went at 7s in Seattle after going at 5s for the opening weekend. And he traveled for 14 runs in his first over in this contest. But he will likely have something to say at some point here. Bajwa taps that right back to Wali as Yuvraj Samra scampering back. Few things more exciting for me as a cricket fan than seeing a match where you come into the chase thinking, yeah, this is going to probably be an over and done deal, and then watch a team make a couple of big stabs and make it interesting. Certainly, as that is a fake, at least, of the throw to attempt to run out Samra at the non-striker's end. Another dot to start here, this Tajwali over. You come in thinking after the morning's cricket that there's just no way that 129 is going to hold up. And then Nayan Desai takes 2 wickets in the first 3 balls, and you say, okay, maybe there's something to this. That one's tapped towards the left side of the pitch. He'll scamper a quick single as Wali steps up to snag it. At the moment, it's the Great White North trying to haul the men in two-tone blue towards the playoffs after the loss of their opener, Adapalli, who has been their leading run scorer this season, and their stalwart, Shahan Jayasuriya, who's closing in on 2,000 runs and is second all-time in MILC runs scored. Samra rolls that over to the offside for a single. Two balls left here in the power play. Deep man at backwards square here for Dilpreet. This one tapped right to the vacant area in front of him. Much calmer second over of work here for Tajwali. Backward square and sweeper cover. Or rather now backward point and sweeper cover. The deep men. Backward point and mid-wicket. Sorry, it's a righty-lefty combination. It threw me for a sec. That's who's deep. Final ball of the power play. Yuvraj Samra rolls that to Akash Sundaresan. Throw is a little wild, but well backed up. And so 4 off that over. Great comeback for Wali after that first over went for 14. Power play done and dusted. Silicon Valley Strikers 40 for 2 through 6. A look here at the bowling card for the San Ramon Grizzlies. Ayan Desai, the 2 early wickets, just 6 runs off of his 2. Tajwali has also bowled a pair from the Tadika end, the 2nd and 6th overs of the encounter so far. First one expensive, second one less so. And then 2 overs of spin, 1 from each side. Akash went for 7, Vatsal for 9. That's where things stand here as we finish off the power play. If you are wondering the comparison, San Ramon Grizzlies were 32 for the loss of 4 at this point. Speaking of 30s and 4s, Ayan Desai back on. First delivery from him without the fielding restrictions is going to sneak through the man in the inner circle and runs to the rope for a 4. Desai conceding just 6 from his first 2 overs of work. Early sign of intent here, lefty on lefty against Yuvraj Samra. Mentioned beforehand that lefties have been going a bit quicker against Ayan this season, 8.32 his economy against them. He's already dispatched one of them, as that one is a swing and a miss. Was trying to tell you about that stat when he got Shehan Jayasuriya to chop on. It's been a running joke when I'm at games that Ayan Desai seems to almost always take a wicket on his 3rd ball of an encounter, and I was about to comment that he had interrupted that by taking the wicket on the 2nd delivery, and then he turned around and did it again on the 3rd. So the pattern continues. Known for those ones in his first over, early in his first over. That one's going to slide down the leg side for a wide. Desai at the moment doing a wee bit of a got to catch them all in this Western Division. The 22-year-old from San Bernardino somehow at that young age has played for 4 of the 7 teams that have existed here in the West. That one shot right back past his left hand on the follow-through. That'll be a single. But Ayan started out with Hollywood Master Blasters and played a season with San Diego, then 2 with LA. Now here with San Ramon. Keeps on moving up the coast. He's got pink, yellow, and 2-tone blue to eventually wear at some point if he does decide to go full Pokemon on this. Bat dangled out there from Dilpreet Singh. A good, tempting line from Ayan. Trying to induce that false shot. That outside edge. Dilpreet has started to feel himself a little bit. 2 maximums and a 4 so far in this innings. Only Yuvraj has managed to target Desai so far for a boundary, though. Drifts on the leg side. That one run down to mid-wicket. One ball left in what is so far Desai's most expensive over, but still just 13 off the 17 he's bowled and those 2 big wickets. Yuvraj Singh frees the hands, but guides that one straight to the man in the covers. A single to finish. 8 runs off that Desai over, including a tasty 4 off the bat of Yuvraj Singh. Silicon Valley Strikers 48 for 2 through 7.
From USA to India, experience journeys like never before. Book your tickets today with fantastic fare. Your ticket to cricket and beyond. Book today and celebrate with fantastic fare.
You see here the Strikers beginning to advance, or maybe more accurately, just continuing their ascent at the point of the innings where the Grizzlies had to try to consolidate. This is around the time where the Kakani-Zia Shahzad partnership had to get going and had to at least find its footing before they could advance and get that run rate up in the direction of 6s again. Silicon Valley, meanwhile, going a little better than 6s at the moment. 48 in 7 overs off 42 balls, and it's going to be Akash back on from the Tarika end. Tajwali and Akash have alternated overs from that side. Thus far, Desai has bowled all but 1 from the Atul's end. Vagela responsible for the 1 other over. That one in the block hole, dug out, and it'll be a single for Samra. Nicely bowled by Sundaresan, those first 2, limiting any damage. The big issue for... as this one is fired into a vacant area, and that long run will be unsuccessful ultimately. Just neatly guided with the face of the bat there. Very, very fine of third man. About to say, so far Silicon Valley have done well to avoid long stretches without boundaries. That was something that really troubled San Ramon in their innings. This one guided to the offside. Sweeper cover is over to it. Sundaresan's first, by and large, a cheap over. 7 runs from it and only 2 scoring shots. 6 of those came off of 1 stroke. That one's just wide of Akash's dive. Single for Yuvraj Singh. Apologies for missing it. The tasty little 4 from Dilpreet bringing up the 50 for Silicon Valley. They are 74 runs shy of a win that would move them into excellent position to clinch a berth tomorrow. Both the Grizzlies and Strikers after this have matches left against San Diego as Bajwa goes for the sweep. Sahil Garg at square leg gets to that and throws it back in. They'll both play San Diego, and of course the Grizzlies will face off with East Bay tomorrow morning. We'll take a look at the points table when we come back from this break. 56 for 2 through 8. There is that points table, and you can see San Ramon with the match in hand on Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley, San Ramon, and East Bay all individually have the potential to get to 7 and 3, but they can't all do it because of the fact that San Ramon is facing Silicon Valley and East Bay today and tomorrow. So 7 wins would definitely get the job done, would definitely get you into the playoff field. That net run rate becomes very important, and San Ramon have the best one out of... DP Singh Bajwa launching one here, and another maximum for the 22-year-old Canadian. Vatsal Vagela back into the attack and greeted quite rudely. Not a bad length, but good work by Dilpreet to get to the pitch of it with that lunge forward. Starting to say before I hit the wrong button and failed to get rid of the graphic and keep my audio on and did the exact opposite. Premeditated shot, the reverse sweep, and that is going to just be a scare. Goes for that reverse sweep. Vagela, that ball seemed to turn pretty dramatically inward. Might have been a decent shout. No shenanigans on this delivery. Just rolled to the man on the offside and another dot. Dilpreet hoping to take advantage of manipulating the field as they pulled someone in on the offside following the 6 to Cow corner. Was looking for that sweep, but to no avail. Looking for another pickup. This one is going to pick out the fielder, and that is the end for Dilpreet Singh Bajwa. Tried to go back to the well from the prior shot after failing on the reverse sweep. And that's all for him. He will depart with 36 off 29, but quite a job done to restabilize the team and author this 60-run partnership alongside Yuvraj Samra. Just a little bit toe-ended and picks out mid-wicket. Barely needed to move to get to that one. And so Vagela strikes in his reinsertion into the attack. And if you were thinking to yourself, okay, well, we've gotten rid of one of the big boundary hitters. Who do they have next? Oh, dear heavens. The answer is Ramon Reefer. Ramon Reefer, the 34-year-old from Barbados, had a 140 strike rate in 2022 when he was one of the bright lights of a team that went to the Pacific Conference Final and lost just one game in the regular season. This year, he's going at a 158 strike rate, best in the West for batters with at least 50 runs scored and 13th in minor league cricket. The one thing worth noting is that the pace-spin split is dramatic. 192 his strike rate against Pacers, 114 against spin. And so for sure right now, you've got the kind of bowler in that you'd like to greet him in the attack. Vatsal Vagela is certainly somebody known for foxing the occasional batter here, especially early in an innings. For Vagela, his first wicket against Silicon Valley in the 2 matches so far. First delivery has Reefer on his back foot. It is a long run in from the boundary for Zia Shahzad and Sahil Garg. It'll be Garg who comes to it, a single, and Reefer is off the mark. Flattened out and lifted in the direction of a gap. Long run and a dive to keep it inside the rope. We'll see what the judgment is out there. Certainly some of the folks on the Silicon Valley bench think that that was not a successful boundary save. We are on something of the honor system out here, but the official ruling appears to be a 2. We'll see if we can get a better view of it. Would have been a problem had the fielder touched the ball after the initial flick, but I think we might be all good there. Admittedly, I am looking at that through a monitor that is backlit, so don't hold me to it. At any rate, 9 runs from the over. 9 overs gone. Silicon Valley 65 for 3. And we'll keep it right here as there's going to be a change of bowlers. More spin from the Tadika end. More off spin at that, and it's going to be Aaron Johnson into the attack. Johnson bowled 4 overs in the weekend in Seattle after not being used with ball in hand over Labor Day. First delivery from Johnson is going to induce a long run, a slap, but too much English on it. Good effort from Mohammad Tahir Adil, and just bad luck. Got to it in time, slapped the ball back into play, and it had so much backspin that it winds up at the rope anyhow. Pretty shot from Ramon Reefer to send that one darting along the carpet, that's for certain. Second delivery from Reefer, or to Reefer rather. Guided right to third man. Sahil Garg in that position. Johnson gave up 30 runs but took 4 wickets in his 4 overs in Seattle, taking MVP in the West honors on the minor league cricket show in week 2. Right now he's getting a rude greeting into the action as Reefer has now targeted him for a pair of 4s. Trying to create that angle, but just a bit overpitched, and Reefer able to collapse the hands inside the line of it. Skew it into that sweeper cover area. This is somewhat remarkable. I'll admit, it's small sample size, but I'll tell you in a moment, this is not what I would have expected based on that small sample. Coming into play today, Johnson had bowled 13 balls at right-handed batters and 11 at lefties. He'd taken a wicket and given up 22 in those 13 balls against righties. He'd taken 3 for 8 in the 11 balls against lefties. This would seem exactly what you'd want him for, and certainly off-spin against left-handed batting. Known to be a love story. We've seen Vikash Mohan make use of it. So far, not working out quite as desired. That one is lifted over the head of Johnson. And will make it to the rope on a couple of hops. A third boundary in the over. 13 off the first from Aaron Johnson. And that is going to change the discussion at the drinks break considerably. 2 of them off the bat of Ramon Reefer. That one, the young Canadian Yuvraj Samra, straight back over Aaron Johnson's head. That will do it for the first half of this chase. 78 runs in the bank for 3 wickets lost. 51 to go for Silicon Valley to move to 6-3. And we'll take the moment of this pause here to update you on action around the league. Over in the Eastern Division, a pair of games yesterday and today between the New Jersey Stallions and the NYC Titans. Both went the way of the Stallions. First game a bit closer than the second. Stallions winning by 4 wickets on the penultimate delivery on Thursday's first game. This morning, put up 155 for 4 and defended that to the tune of a 30-run victory. That enough to put New Jersey Stallions into the playoffs, and then the victory for the New England Eagles over the Philadelphians earlier today, that by 26 runs after the Eagles posted 165 for 6. That enough to ensure that the New Jersey Somerset Cavaliers will not be caught by Philly. NYC Titans had been eliminated earlier by the Stallions, and so those two Jersey teams are your representatives in the Super 8s coming up in Morrisville in about 2 weeks' time. In the South, pair of games this morning, Atlanta Fire obliterating the Morrisville Raptors by 96 runs. They pull that out with a 181 for 4, courtesy of 97 not out from Stephen Taylor, and then hold Morrisville to 85 for 7. Similar story as Baltimore went 176 for 5 in their 20 overs and held Atlanta Lightning to 99 for 9 for a 77-run victory. That, your action in the Southern Division, and has got Baltimore and the Atlanta Fire still undefeated and on the verge of clinching their berths. Atlanta Lightning have got some work to do in their matchups with Morrisville tomorrow and Sunday. Back to action here in Morgan Hill, and it's Harish Kakani back into the attack for the first time. Kakani, the star of the first innings with bat in hand for the San Ramon Grizzlies, put up 41 runs and authored a massive partnership with Zia Shahzad to stabilize the ship and get this anywhere near defendable. Unfortunately, that last over, and really the last 2 overs, have shaken that foundation just a little bit. Next delivery from Kakani at a good length and a bit of width on offer, but it's pushed to Aaron Johnson over at mid-off. Pair of singles to start, but less and less wiggle room to play with here for the Grizzlies. The asking rate brought down to 5s by those 2 overs right before the drinks break. The presence of the 2 lefties has negated a little bit of what this team might like to do. We haven't seen that much Vigela, although he did strike after giving up a 6 to remove Dilpreet Singh Bajwa. He was on specifically for Dilpreet. Yet to see any overs from Zia Muhammad Shahzad, however. And that quite likely a consequence of a lefty-heavy lineup. Left arm spin and leg spin tend to have a little bit less of a role in that situation. Kakani steams in. Samra tries to find the gap on the onside. Sahil Garg, though, up with it at cow corner. Long on and mid-wicket converging to cut that off at just a single. At least to start with, few overs featuring singles and dots. Not the worst way to get things started. The problem for the Grizzlies is they have not eaten into this Silicon Valley lineup the way that Silicon Valley did to theirs. This one rolled to the vacant area between mid-wicket and long on. It's Zia Shahzad in this time, again holding them to a single. Sooner or later, it is going to take a wicket flurry in all likelihood to guide this one home, and I wouldn't put it past the Grizzlies. We've seen them turn more hopeless moments than this into tight finishes. Problem for them is they've never managed to actually lock one down. 0-11 all time against the men in two-tone blue. Decent rip from Yuvraj Samra. That'll be claimed out in the deep. And so it is indeed 6 singles from the first over from Harish Kakani. It's exactly 5 runs needed per over, 45 from the last 9 for Silicon Valley to get home, 84 for 3.
United Tax, empowering your financial future. Expert financial planning, reliable taxation services, building wealth, minimizing tax, serving families and businesses nationwide. Contact us for further discussions.
Gave you the East and South rundowns earlier. In the Central, they are still underway in the first innings, 16 overs in, and the Dallas Exploria Giants sitting at 155 for 1 in their derby against Kings 11. That a matchup of the number 2 and number 3 teams. As the first delivery from the new bowler, Mohamed Tahir Adil, will be stopped by Aaron Johnson, but that may have gotten him in the face as he stopped it. He has, most assuredly, that has gotten him in the side of the head, and that is not a good sight for San Ramon Grizzlies fans. It's Mohamed Tahir Adil into the attack and sacrificing the body. Aaron Johnson getting down to that one. Get a little water, a little ice. Be happy to know that he stopped that for just a single. They'll take a moment, and the physios, of course, will check on him. We'll take the opportunity and tell you a little bit about the Central. We've mostly been cagey about it because not much was going to move today. But over in the Central, it is a logjam. There are 6 teams alive, and there are 4 of them that could get the first place automatic spot straight to Morrisville for the Super 8s. Chicago Kingsmen have the leg up. They are facing the weakest opposition in the Chicago Tigers, although the Tigers are still alive for a spot in the 2v3 game, so they are not unmotivated. They sit 2 points ahead of everybody and with a chance to cinch that up with a win tomorrow morning. Kings 11 and Exploria are at 10 and 9 points, with the Metroplex Tracers behind them at 8. And so a very interesting little thing going on there, especially because Kings 11 and Exploria are going to face each other twice, so they can't both create distance. Metroplex definitely has an opportunity. They will definitely be in the Super 8s if they can manage 2 wins over Lone Star Athletics. Of course, Athletics are only 1 point back of them, tied with the Chicago Tigers. And the Athletics are motivated. If they can sweep those 2, they'd go to 11 points and more than likely would find themselves in Morrisville, at least for the 2v3 game. So all kinds of madness to dissect as that goes on. And of course, right after you've taken one to the dome, the ball's going to find you right away in that position. But they have moved Aaron Johnson in the meanwhile. So it's Harish Kakani, the new man in that spot, who flags the ball down. 2 dots after the single, as they get every bit of off-spin out of the toolkit that they have against these off-spinners. I guess these left-handers, I mean to say. Single for Reefer. Samra back on strike. Taps that one to the left of Adil. Back to the captain. Onto his back foot and does well to find the space in front of long on and mid-wicket. 3 singles there at the end, but Silicon Valley a little circumspect since the break. They've got 10 off the last 12 balls. San Ramon trying to apply the clamps, 88 for 3. A look at our batting card here. Dilpreet Singh Bajwa, the big partnership alongside Yuvraj Singh. Or Samra, rather. Sorry, Yuvraj Singh's a different guy. I had to announce him a bunch at the T20 World Cup because he was one of the ambassadors. Yuvraj Samra, the one out there with the 36 not out off 29. He'll be facing off right now with Harish Kakani, who continues from Atul's end. Reefer on strike for the first ball, and he'll work that for another single. So far, that is what the strikers have been dealing in since the restart following the drinks break. Kakani this year, 8 wickets at 16.4 runs per, but he's been a little expensive, especially compared to his first year with the Grizzlies. That ball straight to Akash Sundaresan. Dot delivery. Economy in 23 with the Grizzlies was 6.71. This year it's 7.71. That is a smidge better than it was at Dallas last season. At 7.92. This is the spot where he shines, though. His economy in the middle has been 4.78 this season. So being used in the right spot here, they use him a lot at the death. He's suffered a bit there. That one's airborne. Tracking back is Zia, but it's got too much legs. And it's a couple of bounces into the parking lot, but over the rope on the fly. A good 2 seconds there. Zia Shahzad thought he was in that game there. Bit overpitched from Harish Kakani and drilled by the young Canadian. Ball's been retrieved. May have hit somebody as one of the members of the new San Ramon ownership group tried to toss it back in. People staring angrily at each other right now. Let's see, Kakani's comeback, better length, but that one is worked back behind. They will look to take the quick single. Throw is backed up as it misses the stumps from the man at third. Maybe more accurately, backward point. Big turn from Ramon Reefer, and he'll drop that just out of the reach of Sahil Garg. One bounce. No bounces. That one's over the rope on the fly as well. 100 up for Silicon Valley strikers. And the men in two-tone blue starting to bite off big chunks of the remaining runs necessary to bring this win home. We'll get one more look here at Ramon Reefer. Throwing the pull on length. $27 now left to get, make it 26. An expensive one for Harish Kakani. Leave it to the broadcaster to talk about how economical he's been in here, and then have him cough up 15. In over number 13, Silicon Valley 103 for 3, 26 runs from victory.
Real estate has been my life for the past 20 years.
Look, anyone can write a contract, but Alka guides you to the right decision.
Alka's enthusiasm and professionalism in the real estate field makes her tops.
Yeah, we've known Alka for almost 20 years. We've done 8 transactions with her. Do we need to say anything more?
Yuvraj Samra is the man at the non-strikers end here as we get ready for the start of over number 14. It'll be Mohammad Tahir Adil starting again from that side. This ball lifted and guided wide of the man at long off. Finding that gap perfectly, another 4 runs onto the total. Adil's first over had been phenomenal. This time drifts a bit too wide. And Ramon Reefer knows what to do with that. Ball worked calmly to mid-wicket, and at this point, no need to hurry things along. If it's there to be hit, you hit it. But if it's not, take those singles, absorb a dot or two. No worries at this juncture. 21 required and 40 balls left to get it. This game, a pivotal one in this chase. This is going to mean that Silicon Valley have a chance to claim a spot in Morrisville tomorrow when they take on San Diego Surf Riders. Samra looking for the big shot again, and he has found it. Absolutely spanked away to cow corner. Correction, that's much more mid-wicket, maybe even square leg. Nine so far from the over, just 17 left to get. Samra lifts this one. And the only people in pursuit are the ones specifically designated to go fetch the ball. That one has made it all the way on the fly, and that is the 50 up, the first half century in MILC for Yuvraj Samra. Old hat for him in under-19 internationals with Canada, but his first one here in this league in the States, and what a way to bring it up. Back live as Adil looks to cramp him, and Samra works a single. Just 2 runs for him off 11 balls in his work last week up in the Pacific Northwest, finding the Strikers cricket ground pitch, his home pitch, much more to his liking. This one run to Vatsal Vagela at point. They'll take the quick single, and another pricey over. It is a whopping 17 off that over, and there are just 9 left to get. Silicon Valley, 120 for 3. Of course, tomorrow we'll be back here with you as we take a look at the Yuvraj Samra line for today. Exactly a run and a half per ball. 5 4s and 2 6s after being held boundaryless in his 2 appearances last weekend. Phenomenal stuff. It's been elegant and then at times powerful. Of course, tomorrow morning we'll be back at you as Taj Wali gets ready to steam in from Atul's end. Change of ends for him. With these Grizzlies facing off with the Blazers in the morning game, and that now a must-win for the San Ramon Grizzlies. If they can get that victory, they may have to do it by a considerable margin. They could put themselves in position to hop East Bay by walloping San Diego on Sunday. Both of those games in Davis. It'll be Silicon Valley, San Diego in the afternoon game tomorrow, also at Arroyo Park. First delivery from Wally, a Yorker that is dug out by a back-pedaling reefer and will go fine of third for a 4. That is not a bad ball. That is just a superlative shot. That is how you combat the Yorker. My goodness. Just 5 more to get for Silicon Valley Strikers to go to 6 and 3. Wally was absolutely demonic, possessed in the Labor Day weekend. He's had a little trouble finding it since then. Reefer wants to win it in one stroke. It's gotten through the hands of Sahil Garg. If it went all the way, that is all there is. A 4 and a 6 off Wally on the first two deliveries, and Silicon Valley Strikers win by 7 wickets. And we'll enjoy the final majestic stroke. It wasn't the no-doubters that we'd been seeing earlier in the day, but it turned out to be plenty. Garg had a chance there, and you see as it spilled just the other side of the rope. Would have been academic, would have messed up Reefer's average, but that's about all it would have in fact done. The substance already pretty much decided. With 34 balls to spare and 7 wickets in hand, Silicon Valley are your winners here today in the late game. And with that, we'll take a look at the batting card, and it's pretty short. Silicon Valley did not need much in the way of resources. It was an early, exciting start from Ayan Desai, who dismissed Amok Adepalli after a 2 off the first ball and then turned around and got Shehan Jayasurya to chop on the very next delivery. And at that point, we certainly all believed here in the commentary position in the benches, game on. This is going to be another one of those down-to-the-wire nail-biters between these two sides. But it was not to be. Dilpreet Singh Bajwa and Yuvraj Samra able to put on a 60-run partnership to get them to 62 for 3 halfway through the 9th over. Samra would complete his maiden half-century in MILC alongside his captain, Ramon Reefer, who goes for a nearly 2 runs a ball, 39. The two of them put on a partnership to finish off the innings. I'm doing math in my head. Give me a moment. Goes for 68 runs, unbeaten for the 4th wicket. And that's what gets the job done. The bowling card for San Ramon, not going to be as happy reading. Ayan Desai, of course, superlative with that 2 for 14 from his 3 overs. Vatsal Vagela, the only other one to strike, as he removed Dilpreet Singh Bajwa midway through the reaction to that early Ayan Desai violence. Everybody else, though, basically traveled. Akash kept it reasonably tight, 15 off his 2. But Wally went at 2 runs a ball. Harish Kakani and Mohammad Tahir Adil, 21 apiece from their 2. And 13 off the lone over of Aaron Johnson. And it was the Vagela over, even with the wicket, followed by the Johnson over that went for 13, that really began to take this one away from the San Ramon Grizzlies. Sorry, I almost got through the whole broadcast without doing that. Dag nabbit. We'll take one last look at the points table now that things have updated. And there you have it now. 3 teams tied at 12 points apiece, and at least for the time being, the Seattle Thunderbolts are in second place on net run rate. Silicon Valley, though, have done some healthy work on their own net run rate. They've also just about promised to themselves that it won't matter, because now they and the Blazers both have a chance to get into the playoffs at 7-3 with wins tomorrow. That would be enough. The game on Sunday would be a dead rubber. The morning game between the Blazers and the Grizzlies is the big important one. If the Grizzlies can spring the upset there and put East Bay Blazers on 4 losses, a chance then that perhaps they could find their way into the postseason. But without that, it's going to be a hard slog to get that done. And by the end of tomorrow's action, if the 2 teams that won today do it again, we will have our participants in the Super 8s from the West. Of course, earlier today, New Jersey Stallions and New Jersey Somerset Cavaliers punched their tickets from the East. Lots more to settle as action heats up in the South and the Central tomorrow alongside our 2 games. It'll be Blazers Grizzlies at 10:30 in the morning, and then at 2:30, Surf Riders and the Strikers. We hope you'll join us for that. Until then, for everybody involved here at the MLC Network and Crick Live Productions, for Stanley on the camera work and Vishal Tiku at the controls, this is Joe Hickey, hoping to see you again real soon here on the MLC Network. So long.